are now listening to the IELTS podcast.
It was really, really, really helpful. Actually, my wife also got a band 7 on the writing. Yes, because it was so simple, so clear.
Okay, right then. So let's talk about the IELTS. So,
Okay, perfect.
how many times did you take it?
Well, luckily just one.
Just once.
Yes.
Right.
I got an 8.5 on listening.
Yeah.
I think I have had an 8 on reading. 7.5 on 7 in writing, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
Something like that. 8.5, 8, 7.5, 7. the whole spectrum of
exactly.
the bands.
The whole spectrum. Yeah.
And the overall, I think it was 8.
Right. That's very good. Very good. Well done, Alejandro. Excellent
Thank you.
work there.
Thank you.
And what was your biggest challenge when you was preparing for it?
Well, I started by learning how to pass the exam. You know, reading, making a lot of research online on the internet.
Yeah.
I have to say there's plenty of material there. You know, podcasts, blogs, websites.
Yeah.
I started by doing some mock tests, which I noticed that I hadn't any problem with the reading and the listening part of the exam because it was kind of easy for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I started to writing some essays with my wife. Me and my wife were trying to correct ourselves, you know.
Yeah.
And I noticed that I had a tendency to overcomplicate my sentences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or also a lack of structure in my essays.
Yeah.
And in my speaking part, I had some problems with the fluency.
I see. And how did you overcome the issue with the fluency?
I was doing some essays by myself for maybe a month or two, and then I realized that I need some help. Mm-hmm. So I look for a private teacher here in Barcelona. Mm-hmm. I have to say that she really put me on the track. Mm-hmm. She made me be aware of my most common mistakes in writing and in speaking. But I got about 15 lessons, private lessons, kind of.
I see.
And yeah, and after that, my teacher went back to Russia. She was from Russia.
Right.
Yeah. And after that, August, it's not a really good month for studying in Spain.
No, it's not.
Then I decided to go back to my idea in September. Okay. So in October, I was kind of lazy. I had to do some really real pressure. So what I did was to set up a date for the exam.
I see.
And that really helped me a lot because when I said, okay, in January, I'm going to take the exam. And then I started to work a lot, you know. Mm-hmm. For the speaking, I had one application on my cell phone, and it's the part 1, part 2, and part 3. And I had an application on my cell phone which had a lot of topics. So for the part 1, okay, tell me about your work. And it was about, 50 questions about work, 50 questions about traveling, about family, about studies, about... So when I came home, I started to talk aloud by myself. So I just hit the play and there was a voice saying, what is the main benefit of going to work by bus or something like that? And then I answered by myself here. It was kind of crazy, but it was really helpful for my fluency.
You just spoke to yourself, like in your kitchen or wherever, answering the question. Just,
Yes.
with the main objective of getting fluent, of
Yes.
being fluent. That's
Yes.
interesting.
And with my wife, because she also had to take the IELTS, and trying to to fit in the time that you are supposed to answer, and to try to look for ways to develop a better answer, that kind of stuff.
Interesting.
I had to brush up on some of my grammar as well.
Yeah.
And I was following an English course, which is maybe it's a really famous English teacher here in Spain. His name is Bauhan.
Ah, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And I used to listen to these lessons on my way to work.
Yeah.
And for sure, your podcast, it was really helpful. I have to say it was really helpful for my trying to find ways to develop my answer, and trying to find ways to improve my speaking skills and also my writing skills. And in my writing skills, I have to say there's a lot of material there on the internet.
Yeah.
And after a lot of research, I have to say not all are really good material. What I did was I spent some small money, in my opinion at least, small money in a few things. I got this Splendid Speaking, the website Splendid Speaking. So I got enrolled in a course for the IELTS, an IELTS preparation, and for the writing part 1, I got Ryan. He has a small book about how to prepare your writing, the part 1 of the writing test. And for the part 2, maybe a really good guy whose name is Ben Worthington.
Ah, yeah, I know him.
He has this unbelievable. I had to say, I've not been paid now. Really, you have a really good essay about how to prepare for the essay. I don't know how you call it, essay or course. You have a course for preparing yourself for the part 2, because when I was reading, I've been reading a lot of things about how to prepare for the part 2 of the exam. And some people say, okay, you have to focus on this, and you have to make a brainstorm of your ideas. And it was kind of messy, Yeah. I didn't know which way to follow. I didn't know if I had to write 15 sentences, 13, 20. I didn't know. And after listening to your podcast, I decided to give a try to your course. And I have to say, this is my opinion and my wife's opinion, okay? It was really helpful. Actually, my wife also got a band 7 on the writing. Yes, because it was so simple, so clear, effective, efficient. I have to really thank you for this course, because it really make me feel focused, and I get rid of all the other ideas, and I decided to, maybe it worked for me, but maybe for some other guy work some other method, but your method really worked for me.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's kind of you are overwhelmed with so much material on the internet saying do this and no do this and no, you have to learn 20 words every day for the vocabulary, for enlarge your vocabulary. No, you have to do this, and this is wrong, this is good, this is bad, this is so. It was kind of
I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. It's crazy. Every blogger, every IELTS teacher has like a different idea, and I
Yeah,
think if you don't sort of like sit down and focus and choose one that you believe the most or that you have the most confidence in, and you just try and follow maybe three or four, you end up nowhere. You end up in
that's right.
and completely overwhelmed, and especially with the task two questions because
Yeah,
there's so much to think about and incorporate. And then if you add to following the advice of maybe three or four different tutors, you end up crazy. I can totally understand what you mean there.
yeah. Especially as you said on part two, there are some methods I have to say that, in my opinion, were really, really bad. Which they say, okay, first analyze the question. They are asking for I don't know, discuss an opinion or contrast two opinions or I don't know, find a solution, problem a solution. And it was kind of, I don't know which kind of essay this one is. So I was trying just because they say if it's an problem plus solution essay, you have to write this, and then you have to write this, and then you have to write this, and at the end, and in the last paragraph is like that.
Yeah.
But in case there's give contrast two opinions, you have to write this other thing, and then you have to write this other thing, and it was kind of crazy trying to figure out which kind of essay the question was.
Yeah.
And your method is not like that. It's just,
Yeah.
well, I'm not going to say what your method is, but it's really helpful because it doesn't matter which kind of essay they are asking you. It's which kind of question they are asking you. It's
Yeah.
always the same.
Yeah. It's just following simple steps, which
Yes.
will just make it automatic to write a clear, coherent essay that's going to get the points for task response. That was the idea when I started doing it. So, well, thank you very much for that, Alejandro.
No, thank you. And I have to say it really works. For me, my wife, even during our preparation, we we noticed how much we improved our essays.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Yes.
that's good. That's good. I'm really happy, but I'll just have to mention that there was work involved. You were writing essays, and it wasn't like a quick fix. There was work involved, and you were writing, I was correcting. So
Yes.
just so the listeners understand that it's not a buy the ebook and then sit at home and watch the television. It's buy
Yes.
the ebook and do the work involved. Uh-huh.
Yes, and there's something really good about your course that is your deadline. You have a deadline. You say, okay, I'm here at your disposal for 1 month
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. It's 1 month or 3 weeks or something like that,
Yeah.
and you have to send. I have to send you. A student has to send you an essay within a week or within 2 weeks or something like that. It's and that's really good because it helps you. It gives you a little motivation to
Yeah.
do your homework because it says, hey, I'm paying for this teacher. I'm having this teacher at my disposal. I have to make the most of this course. So
Absolutely.
because if you say, okay, here's the course, and you can read the course whenever you want, or you can say, okay, I procrastinate and I'll do it tomorrow. But in case you have to do it as soon as possible because there's a deadline, I think that's a really good point.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I know because when I was, well, just from uni, I realized that well, if there's no deadline, it's just, as you say in Spanish, mañana, mañana. It's just
Yeah.
tomorrow, and you just push it over, just push it over. But if there's somebody there on your back, okay, you've got a week to respond to this essay, to this essay question. get it done or you lose your cash. Simple as. You know?
Yes, same with the IELTS. What I did to push me to study and to do my homework. It was, hey, I'm going to lose almost 200 euro, so I have to study for January, and I have to study on Christmas time. It doesn't matter. I had to do it because I knew my exam was just around the corner. You know.
Exactly. And the good thing as well, what you did was you set the date way, way, way in the future. Like I think you gave yourself 3 months. 3 months for solid preparation and just work, rather than sort of like doing the exam, seeing your grade, and then putting in to do the exam straight away, just buying another exam for 3 weeks later and then studying like mad. It's best to be prepared and to patiently prepare for it, you know, with 3 months long-term preparation, and you'll see a better improvement in your English and better practice as well, because with more time and more patience, you're going to get better results. So that was a good point that you did there.
Because when I was on February, March, April, I was saying, okay, I'll do it when I'm ready, but I wasn't going to be ready ever. I didn't have the pressure to study.
Right then, Alejandro. Well, what are your plans now? Are you going to go to Australia in the end?
Well, at the end, whoa. We don't know actually, because after we got the IELTS, we were really happy. In our opinion, it was the only obstacle in our way to Australia. Okay.
Right, mate. I'm gonna have to go now, but
Okay. Thank you, man. Thank you. Really.
Good. Have a good week, and it was a pleasure. And yes, keep in contact if you need anything.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Thanks for listening to IELTSPodcast.com. And remember to leave your email for updates.